Welcome back to the show. From a Pac-12 shakeup to the takedown on the world's biggest stage for competitive eating. It's time to heat things up with a round of hot topics. My panel today, Michael-Shawn Dugar, staff writer for The Athletic and host for The Hype on 93.3 FM. And we also have my friend and New Day contributor, Terry Hollimon, as well as New Day producer, Rebecca Perry. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
This is exciting stuff. I like this panel today.
Hey.
So let's talk sports, which is something, I know a lot about. Carolina Panthers signed Baker Mayfield, putting an end to the idea that maybe he would be coming to the Hawks. So are we sad about this? Are we surprised about this?
Not surprised, really. The thing is, the Seahawks, they like who they have. They're big Geno Smith believers. They're big Drew Block believers. And they're not big Baker Mayfield believers.
Obviously not.
They let him go somewhere else.
I get it. Well,
I kind of felt like if they were going to do it, they would have done it earlier. So the more time that went by, I was kind of thinking, yeah, that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, I was pretty confident once it didn't happen before the draft that we're going to leave Baker Mayfield off the table. They got the guy that they like, obviously, in Locke, and we got a guy that's been here already that's been doing it for over 10 years now, so we got the guy we want.
It'll be interesting to see what happens.
DK Metcalf has a tweet, I think it's from like June or May, where he says, "Stop the Drew Lock slander." Yeah. And I feel like once your star guy puts that out there, just do what he says.
Do what he says.
Just keep Drew Lock.
Okay, I'm here for all of this. I agree with all of you, obviously.
Obviously.
This next story we were actually talking about has a lot of layers. We're talking about Brittney Griner. She pleaded guilty to drug charges in Russia. It's a charge that carries 10 years in prison, and nobody wants to be in a Russian prison for more than a day, let alone 10 years. She's been detained there already for 130 days. So, like I said, a lot of layers to this. Rebecca, start.
Yeah, so this just came down a couple hours ago, and I guess what I'm hoping is that by pleading guilty that she won't have that 10-year sentence. I'm hoping that they reach some sort of a plea deal. Even if they because she's been there for 130 days, so maybe they'll just be like, all right, she pleaded guilty, go home, and then.
But that's not going to happen.
I mean, I don't know.
I thought they were going to trade her for some.
Well, that was what was on the table for, like an arms dealer. But
an arms dealer.
Yeah.
Well, what's his name? Michael-Shawn?
Victor Bout? Victor Blau?
The Merchant of Death?
Yeah,
isn't that what we said earlier?
He's got a crazy nickname. They're the Merchant of Death. You're basically trading someone who may or may not have some vape pens in the airport for someone who may or may not be a Russian terrorist. That does not seem like, we were just talking about the Baker Mayfield trade. That's not an even swap.
That's a good way to bring it
we
back.
We got to get more back in the deal or something like that if we're going to trade a potential terrorist for, one of the best WNBA players we have right now.
Yeah.
As a kid who grew up in, the Cold War era, I always think about Russia and the Russian prison system. I always think of, you're going to Siberia, like freezing cold, hard. You're just cracking rocks with a hammer. I can't see Brittney Griner doing that, but unfortunately, she's going to have to pay the cost. I don't know if she's going to get out, with the 130 days served or what the deal is, but she was facing up to 10 years.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes maybe you want to, you're looking at that, you got to start making deals.
And they could really stand to do a cool thing right now and just let her be, but that's definitely not Russia. So
we'll see.
We'll keep an eye on this. USC, UCLA, they're leaving the Pac-12 for the Big Ten. Now there are reports that Oregon wants to go with them. So what happens now? And how does the Pac-12 survive this?
Well, one way is we can have Washington State and Oregon State look up to Oregon and Washington and say, hey, big brothers, carry us to the promised land. Don't leave. Stay, because those are really big brands. I'm a Washington State grad, and I can admit that this UW has the Seattle TV market, and all the college football is about money right now.
Yeah.
So we need them not to leave us for the SEC or the Big Ten or the Big 12. Oregon, the same thing. They're not as big of a TV market. I don't know what Eugene is, probably like 3,000th or something like that on the TV markets.
I think it might be
like 130, 150.
But Phil Knight money is atop every list.
Yeah.
So Phil Knight money, the Seattle market, like Oregon and Washington have to stay in the Pac-12. If they don't, that's basically an RIP to the conference.
Wow.
I'm kind of a purist, Michael, when it comes to the Pac-12. I'm really a Pac-10 guy, to tell you the truth. That's how far I go back with the thing. But right now, the money's out there, right? And so I think that's what happened with USC and UCLA. They're following the money. There's big-time money over there in the Big Ten. They're about to sign, $1 billion deal to break up between all the teams in that conference. Pac-12 really hasn't stepped up to the plate when it comes to that kind of money.
Yeah.
You know what really led to this? This is an example everybody can relate to. The Pac-12, think of it like a group project. Right? Like you have one in high school or college, like the USC and UCLA were like, we got our names at the top of the page and we're getting an A. You guys ain't doing nothing, so we're gonna leave until we get like fair credit relative to the split, you know, because in the Pac-12 you divide up the money evenly by 12. You know, it's like, well, if we're bringing in 80% of the money because we're in LA, we should get 80% of the split. So that's why they bounced on everybody.
Okay, thank you for explaining it in the terms I finally understand, because I watched enough as Sports Illustrated and Sports Center last night, and I'm still, thank you.
Well, see,
Group projects.
I figured everyone would understand that
I
analogy.
appreciate that. Speaking of a group project, this is actually a project of one. Did anyone watch the Nathan's hot dog eating contest?
I did.
I watched a little of it. I
Every
watched a
year.
little of it.
I showed it to someone who had never actually seen the hot dog eating contest. They were just blown away.
And
blown
a little
away.
grossed out?
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
a
Oh,
little
yeah.
too?
Then you see the headlock. I'm like, wow, is this like this every year?
So the headlock, let's get to that. So perennial champ Joey Chestnut, he's out there. He's eating like, what, 60-something hot dogs at this point. Then this protester runs up. They're like, I'm going to get right in front of Joey. And I can't even see what they're protesting. Exposed. I don't even know.
He
And
takes him down.
Takes her down. Takes him down. Headlock. Down. Give me another hot dog.
He did like, it wasn't just the headlock though. He did like the old school, like James Bond, I broke your neck. Like twist.
He did.
Funny
laid him
thing is,
down.
like, so, but when you were watching it, you had no idea that that happened because the camera wasn't on them at the time, and all of a sudden, like, after it's over, thank God for Twitter, you're like, wait, what happened?
Yes.
I guess that's why he didn't break the world record.
That's my first time noticing that a guy with the same sign actually didn't get a chokehold. He's standing
I
right.
saw that too.
Yeah,
I just
never
saw that
noticed
too.
that before. Yeah, kudos to him, standing out a hard way, getting his message across.
Yeah,
Like,
he was. You know
far more
what? You don't need to
efficient.
be violent to get your message across.
He stood in the right spot.
But man-
If anyone doubted whether Joey's like an athlete, because this does show on like ESPN, so like you would think that they're
This is
athlete.
true.
He definitely is.
Does it show on the Ocho though?
To knock somebody out while you're eating like several hot dogs and bread and lemonade or water, or whatever.
Several?
That's impressive.
Yeah, just a side note though. The thing about that hot dog contest every year that grosses me out, it'd be different if you're just eating hot dogs, like mustard, like, but you're taking hot dogs and dipping it in water. Like,
That's why, because it softens the bread, right? It's
Yeah.
like part of the.
Because they're
It's
not
still
really
wet.
chewing, they're just making a mush and then just swallowing it, knocking it back. You got people up there throwing up. It's a lot. The
What
person
a-
I showed it to was blown away. It was like, why are we doing this?
Why do we do this? It's
America.
It's so very America.
It's
Is what I was
America.
going to
4th
say.
of July,
4th of July.
wet hot dogs, gorge yourself. What could be more American?
What would you eat? Okay, y'all. Like, what would you eat in an eating contest? I know what I could probably eat like 6 of. Lemon meringue pie.
Oh.
And think about how easy that slides down.
Yeah.
I
meringue?
think I got 2 options: air fried chicken wings. I could probably eat like 100 of those in the
Okay.
time that they get, or string cheese. I could probably eat like
Oh.
200 or something string cheese in the time that Joey eats like a bazillion hot dogs.
I could actually probably take you in that competition.
We could do that today.
I'm gonna need some lactate first.
I'll let you guys do that one. I got the #1 answer for everybody that's watching right now. Bacon.
Oh,
You guys want to
no.
have bacon off? I'm down. I eat about 7 to 8 packs.
That's no.
I actually have a new way to
Terry.
cook it where you twirl it that makes it easier to eat. I'll tell you about that later.
Okay.
Facts.
I think I'm gonna go with cherries. Is that weird?
Like Rainier cherries?
I ate so many Rainier cherries last night, but the pit, that might be, you'd have to take some time away.
You would be
to
like a
remove the
machine
pit.
gun, getting those bits out.
Yeah.
I will say you have to be careful when you eat too many cherries. It can
Well,
upset the
okay.
tum-tums.
String cheese too.
String cheese too.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
You
All
don't
right.
have that problem with bacon.
Or pie.
Bacon or pie.
All right, you all are going to stick around because we have much more to talk about. So please, we hang out for a little bit longer.
Sure.
All right.
As long
all
as you
right.
bring string cheese, yeah.
We actually have some right in the fridge right there, so I'm going to get it for you as soon as we go to break. But